Believe it or not, but I'm actually happy when my car gets dirty, and that's because I get an opportunity to clean it, and I get an opportunity to test new products, because what good is testing new products on a clean car? You want to try them on a dirty car. So that's exactly what I'm doing today. My car is a little bit dirty, and I get to try new products that I've received from Mirror Image Car Care. So here's a look at the car just now. As you can see, it is raised up on some pieces of plank that I found. I'll explain more about that a bit later on. Let's have a look at the condition of the car right now. And you can see there the wheels are looking fairly grubby, the tires looking pretty sorry for themselves too, and lovely mud splashes up one side. This is what comes from living in the countryside. Again, the front end never looks too bad, but as soon as you see the sides, that's when it really shows up. Again, dirty wheel, more mud splashes, a lovely big one there in front of the rear arch. And of course, being a hatchback, it has a dirty backside. So let's get started. First up, this is the snow foam. And this is being used with a lovely slow motion shot here with just a good quality snow foam lance. This one is the MJJC Foam Cannon Pro, the latest version, and it really does make the snow foam lovely and thick. It's thick, it's clingy, it's enjoyable. It's just a really nice snow foam. And honestly, if you've got a good foam cannon for this, then you really will not be able to tell the color of the car underneath it. It's a really enjoyable snow foam to use, and I did make a bit of a mistake, which I'll show you in just a second. But it's lovely and thick, it has a decent scent to it. There you go, it's coming off like custard. Really nice stuff. So here's my mistake. I was testing it with the other Foam Cannon Pro, the earlier version, testing them side by side. And when I went to refill it to apply on the car, I accidentally filled the foam lance with at least 200 to 250 ml of snow foam and the rest with water, which is why what you see here is uber thickness of snow foam. I really did think I needed a cone and a flake to go with this. It is a super thick, pleasurable snow foam. Doesn't really make much use. It's not useful to have a thick snow foam. But this is what it looks like at the regular, normal dilution ratio, and it's really good. Really nice snow foam. After that was rinsed off, it was time to work on the wheels. This is the wheel cleaner, spraying liberally across the wheel and into the barrel, and allowed to dwell for a minute. And while that was happening, I got the all-purpose cleaner and sprayed that onto the tires, and you can see there that piece of wood underneath allows the edge of the tire to hang over a little bit, and that allows me to use this SGCB tire scrubbing brush, and it allows me to get around the shoulder of the tire underneath. Now I know some people will roll the car backwards and forwards, but I'm too lazy for that, so instead I gave this a try, and it seemed to work really well. You can see the foam there on the tires, it came up nice and brown. That means we're pulling out lots of dirt, which is great. And then I'm using the large wheel woolly here to get into the barrel and do most of the work. It doesn't quite fit around the brake caliper though, so I switched to the medium size to get around that. It's not a super sudsy or foamy wheel cleaner, but it seems to do a good job. This is the Vican wheel face brush, one of my favorite tools, and working in around the spokes. Honestly, this was an effective wheel cleaner. Like I said, it doesn't really stand out as being anything, but once you see the rinse off here, well, it did a really good job. So I can't argue with it, but again, as I usually do here, a second hit of all-purpose cleaner and the tire scrubber. And if you see your foam coming up white, then the tire is clean and ready for dressing, although I will come to the dressing later on. This is Hydrate shampoo. I'm using 100 milliliters of shampoo to lots of water. It does say on the bottle 50 to 100 milliliters of water. No, that's a lie. 50 to 100 milliliters of shampoo to 20 liters of water. So I'm going for the higher end dilution ratio here. You can see there's a decent amount of foam there. Not the foamiest I've used, but that's because Hydrate shampoo contains polymers designed to make the water come off a bit more like a sheet and minimize water spotting. If you're looking for a regular shampoo, I will talk about that at the end of the video, if you're looking for one that doesn't contain polymers. But there were a decent amount of suds there, not super sudsy, but they did last to the end of the wash and they did transfer across to the car. So honestly, this was a decent shampoo. I'm rinsing it off quickly because the car was in direct sunlight. I didn't want any of those bubbles or any of the foam from the shampoo to dry on the car and cause any water spotting. I know my camera lens is dirty, it needs a clean, I apologise. Now this is Nano Jacket. This is a spray-on, rinse-off, wet coat product. And I've switched to my hose here because my pressure washer is now basically dead. When you run it, it sounds like you're running gravel through the motor. Keep an eye out on my podcast with Paul Dolden, where we talk about this. I've got more to talk about it in the next episode also. I'll leave a link to the podcast down in the description box below if you guys are interested. So here you can see I tried to spray it onto one half of the rear panel, and you can see it comes up with that white foaminess. That is indicative of most of these spray-on rinse-off protection products, but you can see there's a difference there. The left side is hanging on to the water more and the right side is beading off. So just as a comparison, let's spray on to that second section again and give it another spray off. I'm not leaving it any amount of time, I'm simply rinsing it off again with relatively low pressure water. This is not coming from a pressure washer and it's still very effective. A big difference there. And this is the flooding effect. If we flood the panel, you can see it breaks up quite quickly, and once they get off, doesn't leave huge amounts of water behind. And that's really handy as a drying ability. If you spray this on before you dry your car, it's going to keep most of the water off. This is Hydrate Protect wax though. This is a really nice smelling wax. I'm using an SGCB wax applicator pad here. And a small amount goes a decent distance, honestly. I quite like this wax. Very easy to apply, it was quick and straightforward, it wasn't particularly sticky. It was easy to apply a thin layer of it. And 5 minutes of curing time is all that's required. So once you've got a good even spread of it, let 5 minutes go by and buff it off. Very easy to buff off also. And you'll see that that section beneath the door handle is where I have not applied anything. So we'll see a side-by-side difference here with the water behavior. And this is a very, very hydrophobic wax. It really hates water. That water just wants to get off so quickly. Really impressive product. Really satisfying to see how it allows that water to come off. Moving the camera here so you can see the section which doesn't have any protection on the right, and the section which has been waxed on the left. Very obvious there. Let's flood it. And you can see here it's carrying most of that beading away, whereas the other section, it floods and holds on to the water. Really, really big difference. Very satisfying. And this is that drying with water technique. If you can create a slow, steady sheet of water on protected paint, it will carry away most of the beads, leaving it practically dry. Hydrate Detailer now, and what I wanted to do here was apply this onto the section of the door which had no protection, and also spray it onto the wetted, pre-protected section at the back of the car to find out if I could use this on a wet panel as more of a drying aid. So I've got one panel sprayed, and I've also put one spray onto this towel. It's a very quick and easy to use detailer, very slick when you're buffing it off, very easy to apply and remove, and it leaves really good slickness and shine behind. And then here, one more spray on the towel, and I'm picking up most of the water as we go, and a couple of passes will be all that's needed to make sure you pick up all the water there. And it really comes off quite nicely when you flip the towel. It dries off easily. It's a very quick and easy way to get some protection on there and to dry the car. And you can see that section beneath the door handle, it is now hydrophobic. It is not as hydrophobic as the wax, but I would say it's just as hydrophobic as Nano Jacket. Really nice product. Quick and easy, and you get good results. Here's the flood test. You can see on the left side with the wax, it comes off quickly. With the detailer, it comes off a little bit slower. Not super slow, but you can see it does want to hold on to it a little bit. And then the Nano Jacket, topped with the detailer, just gives it a little bit of an edge. It allows it to flood and come off a bit better. You can see it there, it's creating a sheet of water. Really nice stuff. This is the SiO2 glass cleaner. I've never used one of these before. I've used many glass cleaners, but never one that contains protection. So I let the water dry on the glass to leave some watermarks to find out if I could clean them off easily with this glass cleaner. And what you'll see here as I'm working it across is that it flashes away very quickly behind. It doesn't leave much streaking or smearing or anything like that. It just comes on and off very quickly. You can see it there, those streaks are just evaporating away. And honestly, when I flipped the towel to buff off any remaining residue, there was an instant slickness there. I could feel it underneath the towel. And especially when I reached across to the other side of the glass, there was a difference in slickness, which I'll show you now. A quick feel of that slickness difference. So here's the dry side of the towel. The towel wants to slide down that section of the glass, and on the other side, even giving it a shove, it wants to slow down. Okay, it's not super slick, but there's something there. And yes, it will fly down if you throw it down, but there you go, you can see it pushes and then it slows down and stops. Whereas this side, much slicker. Here's the water test. The left side did have something on it previously, but it is mostly disappearing right now. You can see it is pretty much hanging on to most of that water. But on the right side, huge difference. It wants that water to break up and disappear. So if you're the kind of person that wants to clean your glass every time you wash your car, when you're using something like this, you are going to continue to top up that protection on your glass. It's not as good as a glass sealant, however, topping it up regularly will keep it fresh. And this is going to be the best demonstration. This is the rain test, and you'll see here there is a night and day difference between the left and the right. Because flooding is not exactly a fair test. This is what you're likely to see on a heavy rainy day. A big difference there. And then on the other side, I wanted to apply it wet, just to find out if I could do this when the car is wet after I've rinsed it off. For no good reason. I could easily dry the glass, but I wanted to see if it was possible to apply this while it was wet. Perhaps if it's still raining, for example, and you don't have a chance to dry off the glass. Now it does look a bit streaky there, I will admit that, but this is probably not the way this product is meant to be used. but I am picking up bits of water as I go along. But let's have a look at the difference now. Back to the shower setting. Eventually. There it goes. And now they are practically identical. Can't really see a difference there at all. So it's a very effective product. And I have to mention that it does smell fantastic. It is one of the nicest products I've ever smelled in general. Not just a glass cleaner. It smells phenomenal. I love it. Alright, Specky, we've seen enough. Move on. Now it's time for the tire dressing. This is the Endurance tire dressing here. A very runny liquid product. And the one I received originally was a bit smelly. It smelled of petrol. However, after mentioning this to Nick at Mirror Image, he told me that they have a new version which has a scent to it. And he sent it to me. He sent it to me after I had filmed this, and there was a difference. I'll mention that at the end of the video in the wrap-up. But you can see here it's a very liquid product. It's very easy to apply to the tire. But because it's so liquid, it is soaking into my sponge just a wee bit. Because it's soaking in, it does take a bit more to make sure I get it all on the tire and around the bead. But this is what the car looks like after. A good wash, and a good wax, and a good detailing spray. All sorts of products on different sections of the car, and the car does look brilliant. Really happy with the results here. Very easy to use products without any issues. There's the tire dressing after it had time to dry. You can see it's not super glossy, but it's not matte either. It's somewhere in between. It's a fairly good satin finish. And being a solvent-based product, it will likely repel some water for a while. And the wheels also had a going over with the detailing spray too, just to help give them a bit of protection and to help clean up some of the water that was sitting on them. And there's a reflection. It's looking really lovely, and I'm very happy with it. So there you go, the car is looking much nicer. I've enjoyed using all of the products I've been sent. I say all, there's a couple I didn't get a chance to try, and that one of them was the gloss enhancer. That's just because I already made it look really nice and shiny with the combination of the wax and the wet coat product and the detailing spray. So this will be tested later down the line in the summer when I've got a few gloss enhancer products that I can try, and I'll be getting my gloss meter out to see if they actually have a tangible, visible, noticeable difference. So that's going to be a thing. Also, I didn't get a chance to try the interior detailer. It smells absolutely fabulous though. I mean, it looks like strawberry milkshake, and honestly, it smells it smells like my favorite strawberry milkshake. It smells divine. So absolutely fabulous, but I haven't had a chance to try it yet. I've just been sniffing it just because I haven't had a chance to do the interior of the car. However, speaking of scents, there's another thing I need to tell you about. So since doing the video, and in between filming the video and filming this section of intro and outro, Nick asked me what I thought of some of the products, and I told him that the tire dressing smells like petrol, and he said we've added scent to it. We've actually added a smell to it now, so it doesn't stink so bad. So he sent it up to me, so I actually have two now. Can you tell the difference on them? No, because they're identical. It just means that the one you get now, if you order one now, you'll get the nice smell. Honestly, I can't tell the difference when looking at them at all. They're exactly the same. However, smell difference. Yeah, that's the one with the nice smell. This one does smell a bit like petrol. It's very, very solventy. So now you're going to get a nice smelling one. So that was really good of him. He also sent down the other shampoo. I didn't realize that they had two shampoos. He sent me Hydrate, and obviously that's the one I used. However, after mentioning to him that the shampoo Could have been doing with a bit more suds. I do like a shampoo with lots and lots of suds. He says, Prestige shampoo is the one you want if you want loads of suds instead. Now, unfortunately, I received this after doing all of the filming, so I can't feature it in this one, but I will give it a try in the future. So if you'd rather have a sudsy shampoo without any of the polymers and extra bits and pieces in it, then this is the one to go for. But if you'd rather have a shampoo that essentially gives you a small amount of protection added to the paint, helps the suds and the water rinse away a bit better and sheet off, then Hydrate is what you're after. So I have to say just a massive thank you to Nick at Mirror Image Car Care for sending all these things down. I will leave the website link down in the description below so you can go and check them out. They've got some more products that I haven't received here, so make sure you go and have a look at those. They also have a bunch of sweets, which Nick very kindly sent me a tub of sweets, and I shamefully have to admit that the kids didn't even get a look in. I mean, they're just gone, destroyed. So, like I said, go and check them out, check everything that they've got to offer. However, if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and smash that like button. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and while you're there, make sure you don't forget to ring the notification bell so you don't miss my next video uploads. In the meantime, I've been Specky. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.